I know you're listening. You're here because something isn't right. Something feels twisted, upside down. Things don't add up. Hello, human. Welcome to our twisted universe. In this episode, we speak with Nikki Dyess about her experiences with past lives.
Hi, and welcome to our Twisted Universe. Today, we're going to be talking to Nikki Dyess. She has an interesting story about remembering a past life. She's an intuitive and an empath, and she's going to share her story with us today.
Hello.
Hi. How you doing today, Nikki?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Good.
Great.
So today, you're going to talk a little bit about remembering a past life, and it sounds like you're pretty involved in the metaphysical community as well.
Yes, which is fairly new. Within the past year or so, my abilities have grown, and I've learned to trust them more. We'll put it that way. I've always been an empath, but the intuitive part is new as far as me trusting it. Trusting.
Be surprised how many people in like the last year just all of a sudden woke up.
Yeah, I was about to say that same thing. Like everybody, it's just a mass, awakening.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lots of
Which is really exciting. It's really exciting to see so many new people like realizing, hey, look, I've had this the whole time. I'm just now learning to trust it and go with it,
Definitely. I think I woke up like really, I always heard spirit talking to me, but I really woke up, I don't know, 8 years ago or so.
Yes.
It's been a little bit of time, but I actively pursued it. So
I learned my friend is a medium, and I actually met her because I was living in a house. It was an older house, and I've always believed in like spirits and all of that. My family comes back. Like I always tell my boyfriend, like, my family comes back. So like if something happens and I die, I'm coming back. Because my mom's mom, her brother, her sister, they're all passed away, and they all have came back in some form or another not long after they passed away. So they come back. They don't stay here for long, but they let you know, hey, I'm just checking in. So I've always believed in it. And so when I was living in this house, it was older, and my daughter's room, I went in there one day, and it was like this heavy, when I walked in it. My daughter is 15, and she can see spirits. She can talk to them. Unfortunately, most of the ones that she sees and talks to are not good. So she's learning to deal with that and learning how to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
But that house, when I felt that heavy, I started looking for a medium. And I live in Mississippi. I live in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I don't know if y'all know where that's at, but it's a fairly small-ish town. I mean, to me, it's big, but I didn't think I would find a medium, especially being down here in the South, Bible Belt and stuff. So I didn't know. So I Googled, I asked somebody, where would I find a medium? And somebody said something about check your local metaphysical store. I was like, I don't even know if we have one, but okay. So I Googled and found, like, called the first one that I found and asked her, I was like, do y'all do house cleansings? And she's like, you mean for like spirits? I said, yes. And she said, well, I don't, but I know somebody that does, and let me give you her information. So I got in touch with her, and we talked before she came over, and she didn't charge. And that right there made me think, okay, well, she might be legit, because a lot of them are going to charge you an arm and a leg, and don't even halfway know what they're doing. So the fact that she didn't charge at all, I was like, at least I'll give her a chance, So she came over and she cleansed it. There was several Native American spirits outside my house, which in Mississippi is not unusual at all. And then there was 3 different couples, like men and women, wives or whatever, and husbands that had lived, because that house was like built in the 60s. So there's like 3 different couples of people that had lived in that house at different parts of the time. And they were all, it's like they were stuck.
That's weird.
They weren't bad. They weren't bad. They were just stuck.
Huh.
I'm sorry.
I find it interesting that 3 different couples ended up. I was wondering if there was like a vortex or
a barrier or something, wondering what kept them from passing.
That I don't know. And I that, like I said, it's been over a year ago. I want to say there might have been like some type of portal. And I know one of the couples was the lady that we were buying the house from. It was her grandparents. Her grandfather, he had passed away in that bedroom. He was the heavy, thick spirit that I felt in that room. And his wife was in the living room. It's like they couldn't find each other.
Oh, wow.
So they didn't want to leave.
So
They didn't want to leave the other one, and they didn't want to leave without it. So it's, we brought them together and they got to leave together, which was kind of cool. And which was what was really cool about that whole process, because that was my first time ever dealing with a cleansing. So I really didn't know what to expect, because all I had ever seen was like Zach Baggins, and so I didn't know what to expect. So when she cleansed the Native American spirits outside, it was so cool, because as soon as they crossed over, I got this immediate like warmth all over my body. And I told her, I said, they're gone, aren't they? And she said, yeah. I said, I felt it. I felt them leave. I thought that was so cool. I was like, okay.
Like they gave you a blessing or a thank you.
Yes. And I loved it, because like I am Native American. I'm Cherokee and Choctaw. And so that just, I loved it. So
ooh, I felt that one.
Yeah,
I'm empathic too. I just got goosebumps from it. I'm like, woo.
I won't never forget that feeling. That was the coolest feeling ever. And me and her became really close after that. And like I said, she didn't charge, and she would come over, after that a few more times for other issues that we had. And she came over one day. She came over and met my daughter, the one that sees the spirits, and they were talking. And when she came, she had brought this big wooden bowl. I mean, that's the only way I know how to describe it. It was just this big old wooden bowl. And she had gotten it at like an estate sale or something. And because I had been feeling like I might have some kind of ability, but didn't know what it was, she said, hold this bowl in your hand. Just see if you get anything off of it. I was like, okay. I was not expecting to get nothing off of it. I rubbed my hand across it and felt the grain and felt the wear and tear of it, and just rubbed my hands across it. And the inside, like it did like that, and she said, can you tell what it might have been used for? Like, do you get anything off of it? I was like, was it like a bread bowl? Like, did they like need, like, because that's what I was getting. The energy from the middle of the bowl, it was like it was grabbing my hand. I don't know how to explain it other than I could feel the energy pulling my hand down. And I said, was it like a bread bowl back in the day? Yes, it was. It has a spirit attached to it. Not an evil spirit, but she's got a name. I can't remember her name. My friend keeps the bowl, but she's not allowed to put anything in the bowl but fruit. If she puts anything other than fruit in the bowl, like, I don't know, it gets knocked over, broken, whatever. The bowl is like, you know, this is for fruit only. But yes. So she keeps nothing but fruit in it. But its original intention is it was a bread kneading bowl. And the fact that I picked that up, I was so excited because I was like, there's no way, there's no way. I've never had any kind of anything before. So that's when I started trying to help my abilities grow, you know, work with them more and help them grow. And then it wasn't long after that my intuitive got stronger, you know, my empath got stronger to the point now, if somebody say they see a spirit or feel a spirit or whatever, and just say, for instance, they'll say, I believe it's evil, I'll get goosebumps, like head to toe goosebumps, if it is in fact evil or whatever they say it is. It's like a confirmation. My body goes into goose pimple mode if it's if it's a confirmation, which is new, and I'm still getting used to that one. That one's it's a creepy kind
of an alarm system,
yeah.
A built-in alarm system for you.
Yeah, it is. And so I've learned to trust it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I asked my friend if that's what that was, if it was the confirmation, and she asked her pendulum, which she's got several of them, and she asked hers, and it said, yes, it's a confirmation. That's what that's doing. It's your body letting you know, hey, this is true, this is real. And so with the past life thing, before I even picked up my pendulum to ask it, when I went to go reach for it, and I'm thinking in my head, you know, I wonder if it could be a past life, I got the chills all over. I was like, okay, you know, I hear you. But I pulled the pendulum out again, still just to make sure, you know, but it's all fairly new to me, but it's growing, and I'm excited about it, you know.
Very cool.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So, what's your first memory of your past life?
Well, the thing that keeps popping in my head is the plantation. That's the main thing that I keep seeing. All I see is a white one, which I know, typical, but it's this white plantation, this white, beautiful home, and all I see is like the grass and the trees. I don't see the fields. I don't see any negativeness about it. I don't feel any negative. That's why when I asked my pendulum, was I a good person? Because that's what I picked up. When I saw the plantation, I was scared and nervous because, like, what if I was a bad person?
Right.
But that's not the energy I was picking up, which in this lifetime, I like to think I'm a good person. But I know that not every lifetime we had were we always, you know, the same person in here. So I was hoping I was a good person, but I was kind of nervous. So that's one of the questions I had was I a good person? And yes, it said I was, which to me, if you're a doctor, more than likely you're a good person, you know.
So you remember that you lived on a plantation and you were a doctor?
Yes. And like I said, one thing I didn't think about this, and the thought didn't come into my head when I was asking the questions, but my friend, I was talking to her about it today and telling her about what we were talking about earlier. You know, mostly men were doctors in the 1800s in the South, but there were midwives. I didn't even think about that. And I haven't confirmed it yet. I haven't had a memory of that, but that makes sense, because unfortunately, a lot of the slave women were getting pregnant by people that were not their men. We're just going to leave it at that. And somebody had to deliver the babies. So that makes sense to me, but I'm not sure on that yet. I haven't had that memory. It's just something that makes sense with the time frame, that, you know, the era of when it was and everything. So I have to sit down, and when I have those thoughts, it's like I have to immediately sit down with my pendulum, clear my mind of anything other than, you know, what's going on at that moment, to be able to confirm it. But I think I would be really happy if that's what it was. You know, a midwife helping these women have their babies, making sure they're safe. You know, I like the thought of it.
There was a lot of people back then that still, like, you know, wanted to help the slaves and all that, and did, you know, things to make sure that they had a good life. So
right. I like to think I was those people, you know.
That's interesting. So when did you first recall your past life? Can you describe what happened?
So last week I had a dream, a very vivid dream. And in the dream, I remember somebody talking to me through like a window. One of my friends even mentioned what if it was a mirror, but either way, I don't remember now who it was talking to me through this window. When I woke up that day, I did, but I can't remember it right now, but whoever it was, they kept talking to me. It's like I couldn't hear them. I was like, what? And finally they hollered at, "You are Kay Carlison." And I woke up. And so the fact that the dream was so vivid, and when I had woke up, like just after waking up, I remembered every detail of that dream, which is very unusual. And then that name just stuck out to me because I don't know nobody with that name, and I've never had a dream about anybody's name other than people that I already know. And so it stuck in my head. It wouldn't go away.
It sounds like a message from spirit for sure. Like
yes. And so
or maybe a spirit guide.
Well, see, and it could have been that too. I last I checked, which it's been a minute. I probably have less now. Last I checked, I had like 7 spirit guides with me. One of which was my grandmother, so she can't go nowhere yet. She's staying. But it's been a minute since I've checked how many I have, so I'll have to check that, because look, I welcome all the guides I can get. Okay, I'm not even gonna. This is new to me, so if they want to just hang on out, I welcome it.
They're like, help me.
Yes, help me. Yes. So when that name in my head, I messaged my medium friend, and I was like, all right, girl. I was like, who is Kay Carlison? I said, because I don't know nobody with that name, and it was just too vivid, too, prominent in my brain for it not to mean something. And so she said, well, let me see what I can find. And so she went to, I guess, Google, or I don't even really know how she looked it up, but she said there was a Kay Carlison in Australia that had recently passed away. And she said, well, okay, maybe she's trying to contact you. I said, you talking about the one that died? She said, yes. I said, well, for what? Like to pass on, cross over? She said, yes. I said, well, how does she know how to find me? I'm in Mississippi and she was in Australia. And she said, spirits communicate. And she said, she's had to cross over spirits from all over, and she said, they communicate, so they know that you do what you do. I was like, all right, okay. Well, then I have another friend that she's a medium too, but she don't do it like quite like this friend does. This, my other friend, she has the abilities, but she just don't practice a whole lot. We'll put it that way. But I got to talking to her about it and telling her that I believed that it was a spirit that wanted to be crossed over, and that, when I got home, I was going to help cross her over. She said, well, let me play devil's advocate for a minute. She said, what if it is a past life? Have you ever thought about that? And I was like, yeah. I said, it's crazy that you brought that up, because that's one of the things I thought of immediately was, what if it's my past life, but I just kind of wished it, out of my mind, because that's that self-doubt that we're talking about. And so when I got home, I was like, okay, I'm fixing to get to the bottom of this. So I asked my pendulum if Kay Carlison from Australia was in my home. Like if she was trying to get in touch with me, if that was what that was in the dream and all that. Yes. Okay. I said, well, was it also a past life of mine? Yes. Okay. Well, they're two different people. Like, was the one in Australia a whole different, thing than my past life? Yes. Okay. Well, so let's deal with one thing first. Let's get rid of the one from Australia. Let's move her on in peace. So we did that. She's gone. She's living in peace now, wherever, not here. Okay. And so after that, that's when I started asking about the past life. And as soon as I crossed over the one spirit and started focusing on the past life, as all of these thoughts started popping in my head, and I had my pendulum out. So as the thoughts were popping in my head, I'm asking the pendulum, like I'm confirming each thing I'm asking, and so I was a doctor in the 1800s on a plantation in the South, which I live in the South now, so that's not a surprise. I was a good person. I was married with children. I died of cancer.
Wow, you got a lot.
Yeah, I did. And I wrote it down somewhere, but I want to say, I asked it if I had died young, because for some reason I was getting that. I didn't have like an exact age, but just I was feeling like maybe I died fairly young. Which I'm 38 now, and that's young to me. So I don't know how young was. Young enough to be a married mom, but back then that could have been 15 years old. So I don't know.
Right.
So, but either way, I do believe that's what it said, is that I was young, but I have it written down. But I got a lot in that one little whew. And after I finished asking all the questions, I just sat there for a minute and I was like, who do I tell? Like, I got to tell somebody, I was like, I got to tell somebody. And so, of course, I messaged my friends and told them, and they were, oh my God. And then that's when I found the page that you saw my post on and posted on there. Cause like, I'm from the South, and my family, I love my family, and I love the Lord. Let me just put that out there real quick. I do love the Lord, but I also believe the Lord gives us gifts, and what we do with them, that's us. And I believe some of this stuff is a gift. That's also why me and my medium friend that does the cleansings, that's why we don't charge. This is not profit. This is a gift. And this is our way of giving it back. You see what I'm saying? So, but I have a lot of family on my Facebook that they are old timey Southern Christians, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So I can't just put stuff like that out on my Facebook wall and be like, woo, and then I'll be like, I'm so happy for you, because no, they're not. They're not at all. So that's when I went looking for the groups and stuff, because I'm like, there's somebody out there that is like gonna be excited about this, because I'm excited, so that's when I started looking for the groups and everything. So but there's like, now that I have that little bit that I know, I want to know more, but I got to get in the right mind frame. That's the only thing with it being so new to me. It has to be quiet. I have a toddler that's 2 that's like from one end of the house to the other all the time.
Yeah.
So I have to wait until I'm her bonus mama, and I have to wait until she goes to her real mama's house before there's peace and quiet. So that's a lot of it. I have to be in the right mind frame, the right, environment or whatever, for me to be able to get these answers to the questions, that way my brain can do whatever it does.
Have you ever tried a guided meditation?
No, actually, if I'm not mistaken, what's today's date?
20, is it the 4th?
The 24th.
I believe this coming Thursday or either next week sometime, another lady in that group is supposed to be calling me, and she's supposed to help me with a guided meditation to past life regression.
That's cool.
Yes, she can do it over the phone. All I have to do is put her on speaker, and we're going to see if that works, because I have always wanted to do something like that. Like, since I started doing all this, like, I've always been curious about it. But
I've
you know,
done
they
it
have
before.
Yeah,
Ma'am?
Madison has a really interesting story. Do you want to share that?
Yeah, I can, if you wanna.
Yeah.
So I was curious about it, and so I like honestly pulled up a past life regression meditation on YouTube.
Yes.
And I just laid down and relaxed, and well, I fell asleep, but I had dreams that were very, very, very vivid. And through the meditation process, you were walking down this hallway, and I saw this hallway, and it's just a hallway of doors, and it's not, I wouldn't really say it's a hallway, actually. It's more like an open space, and then there's just like, it's almost like there is a hall, but there's no walls, and there's just doors standing. And
Interesting.
I walked down this hall, and it was almost like, it almost felt like a museum to me. And
Pick a life, any life.
pretty much that's what it felt like. And so I opened one of the doors, and then I was me, but in a past life. And it was, I would say, like, I don't know where, and I don't know exactly what time period. I would say like when we were settling America time period.
Right.
So I was definitely like a settler, and I remember the way that like the inside of my cabin looked.
Wow.
I was married. My husband was like a trapper, and he would sell fur and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
And I had 2 children, and what happened to us was pretty horrific, but I think what happened was we were on native land, and they came and overtook our little settlement. And but they did end up taking my daughter, and it was weird because I remember like I was passed on, but I stayed with her, and I remember that. So and that's a very like condensed version of what I like experienced, but it was really, really, really interesting. So
that is so cool. That's awesome. Like, did you feel the emotions like that you would have felt back then?
Yeah, I actually woke up and was like crying and stuff. I was like, my family, like, but from what I remember, like they took my daughter in and like adopted her, and so she was like a part of their tribe is what happened.
They killed you and your husband.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the logic or the reasoning behind that, but I don't know. They decided to spare her. So
that's good, at least, you know, at least they let her live, but that sucks that they, you know, that you had to. But you were there with her through all of it, like you were there with your daughter.
Like I stayed with her, like I was her spirit guide almost. Like I watched over her. So
I love that.
I have a very vivid memory of a past life. It's not good.
It's not
like
good.
Ours are like traumatic.
Well, there's somebody in my life that I've had to help a lot, and I constantly am of service to this person, and I wasn't quite sure the connection. And then I did a past life regression. And that person is in the past life with me. And in the past life, I was like, I looked like Captain Hook. I was a male. I had the big wig, black, and the fluffy collar, like the.
You're a pirate?
I look like a pirate. No, I wasn't a pirate. I was on a settlement. I was on land. And it was like this little village. And I was either the sheriff or I was collecting money.
Oh, wow.
And I was I'm going to say a real jerk. Yeah. I could feel that I enjoyed hurting people, and I shouldn't tell this, but no, but I was particularly mean to this person, and I really feel like that life that I was mean to this person. Now we're traveling in a soul group. Obviously, we're together in this life, and I owe that person.
So you think you might be making amends in this life for what you did in the past life to that person?
Yeah, I think I owe this person a debt.
Yeah.
Like you guys have like a soul contract.
Probably. I think I may have murdered her husband.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or executed, or something to that level of just terribleness.
That's crazy. See,
yeah, I don't like that person I was, for sure. And I remember the feeling of enjoying being mean. It's opposite of what I am today. But
right. Wow.
It's interesting because you're not a bad person. And so like you having that experience of a past life where you were like a very cruel and evil person.
I was like Captain Hook.
I feel kind of icky. Like,
oh yeah, I was like Captain Hook. I'll just leave it there.
But I don't know how I would feel, because like I said, I know like not all of our past lives are we going to be the type of people that we are in this life. And so far, I have not had like too bad of a thing with past lives. Now, my friend did a past life reading. I think it was Oracle. It might have been Tarot, but it's been about a little over a year ago. She did one on me for a past life, and that one, all I remember, because I was very overwhelmed by it, all I remember when she did the cards was I was a man, and it was during like the 1960s or something, so it's been, it was in the 1900s.
Really a recent life.
Yes, and I was rich, and for lack of better terms, I liked the ladies a lot. And I had a son, but I was not a good dad. And basically I died alone and rich and lonely. I don't like that one at all. At all, because money does not buy happiness.
No.
And maybe that's why I am the way I am now. Like, to me, like, of course you have to have money to survive, but other than that, I'm like, I don't have to have it. I can bare minimum, as long as I have the basics and have what I need to survive, I'm okay. And I'm wondering if that's what that comes from, like I have other memories too. And I don't know if these were like past lives or if these were just dreams that stuck with me, but I remember when I was a little girl, and when I say little girl, I mean like maybe 5 or 6, like little. And every night I would have the same dream. I'm falling out of an airplane. I've never been on an airplane in my life. I'm 38 years old. So for some reason, I'm falling out of an airplane. I don't know if I was like bungee jumping or I was pushed or I don't remember. But I'm falling out of the airplane and I hit the ground. And every night when I hit the ground, I fall out of my bed. It wakes me up. I roll under my bed and go back to sleep because I'm too lazy to get up out of the bed. That part don't matter, but it's the dream. It's every night.
Maybe we can meet back after you go over the past life regression, hypnotherapy, whatever thing you're doing, and we could talk about your experience with that.
How people get in touch with you? You said you do house cleanings in the Mississippi area.
Yes, I do me and my friend Kristen, we do house cleansing in the South Mississippi area. You can find me on Facebook, Nikki Dyess, or Nikki Renee Dyess. And my friend Kristen, she has got a Facebook page, Pine Belt Spiritual, and Pine Belt Spiritual. Look that up, and it's her. It's her mediumship page. And we will travel depending on the location, and we don't charge.
Oh, that's nice.
That's awesome.
I would say donations only.
Yes. Now we do accept donations, most definitely. If that is what, you feel in your heart, then yes. But as far as having a set price, no.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We'd love to have you back and hear about your next experience.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm excited. And thank y'all so much for having me. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you for watching. Come back soon for more great videos on strange and unusual topics: psychics, hauntings, energy healing, UFOs, entities, and other twisted shenanigans. Keep listening for a short clearing prayer.
We welcome all higher dimensional beings, archangels, and spirit guides in love and light. We speak to you from our heart to the Creator being. We are shrouded in light and love and are protected. We release any attachments or agreements that are not in our highest good and greatest good. We ask you to go in peace. The Creator welcomes you. You are healed and forgiven, lifted and enlightened. You are healed and forgiven, lifted and enlightened. You are surrounded with the Creator's light and love, safe to leave and ascend to your highest good. We ask the divine beings to help you move into your perfect place. Go in peace and love.